What's up everyone, this is Dim, and today we're going to be doing the warrior changes that have been posted for Warlords of Draenor. As you know, there's been a massive patch dump for 6.0, and I want to take the features piece by piece to break them down in separate videos to go through some of the stuff that's been posted. And today we're going to do the warrior changes. So, I wanted to start off first with their ability pruning. So this is what Blizzard wants to do. They want to get rid of button bloat, duplicate abilities, and abilities that kind of weren't fun. Or something like, for example, in the case of the warrior, where everybody macroed Skull Banner and Recklessness together. So instead of having two buttons, why not just make it one? So here's what's getting changed in ability-wise for the warriors. Battle Shout now lasts 1 hour and no longer generates rage. So that means it is now a regular buff. Zerker Rage no longer generates rage or increases physical damage dealt. Berserker Stance, gone. Cleave, gone. Commanding Shout now lasts 1 hour and no longer generates rage as well. Shares the same abilities as Battle Shout. Demoralizing Banner is gone. Hamstring as an ability is gone. Hamstring is now a passive ability that causes Mortal Strike, Bloodthirst, Revenge, and Raging Blow to reduce the target's movement speed by 50% for 15 seconds. That is a big change. Rallying Cry is no longer available to Protection Warriors. Recklessness is now available only to Fury and Armed Warriors. And as I mentioned, Skull Banner has been removed, but we'll see later how it's been incorporated into the warrior skills. Throw is gone. Thunderclap is no longer available to Fury Warriors, and Whirlwind is now a Fury exclusive ability. So those are how they've removed and changed a lot of the warrior skills. Now, there's a lot of abilities and just general class mechanics that have changed with the warrior. So, they flat out said they weren't happy with the arms rotation, and they wanted to change the way tanking was done in Warlords of Draenor. With warriors specifically, they said they needed to make further changes to add the benefits of Skull Banner and put it into Recklessness as opposed to keeping it as a separate ability. And Throw is gone, however they modified Heroic Throw that you can use it some more. That way you still have a ranged ability. So, here are some changes. Recklessness now increases the critical strike chance by 15%, which is down from 30%, but increases the critical strike damage by 10%, up from zilch. So that's how they're merging the two abilities. Shattering Throw no longer reduces the armor of the target, it only does the damage and breaks immunities. So the immunity break is still there, but it doesn't have the armor debuff anymore. Shattering Throw is also no longer learned via any specialization, but instead through a new major glyph of Shattering Throw. And Heroic Throw now has a 6-second cooldown, but has a 15-yard minimum range. So that is kind of a pretty strong change there for warriors. They also pointed out that Haste has been a problematic stat for warriors, usually being of little value. I know that pretty much there's no spec or build that builds around Haste. What they want to do and have the secondary stats be valuable, they're making a significant change to the warriors so that to make that Haste have a strong competitive value. So, all warriors are now getting a new passive called Headlong Rush. And what Headlong Rush is Haste reduces the global cooldown and the cooldowns of Mortal Strike, Bloodthirst, Shield Slam, and Thunderclap. So now you really have to factor in Haste when you're building out your character. Again, a lot of this is going to play out. You have to see how it plays out once it's available in beta to test out. But that's definitely a big change to see how your main abilities cooldowns can be reduced by this. So, Prot Warriors now have also received a few notable changes. First, Dodge and Parry are of course removed from gear, like it is with everybody, and they want the Protection Warriors to value Haste and Crit as important secondary stats. So, they made Riposte give defensive values to crits. So, that's where Headlong Rush will also come in while valuing Haste. So, Riposte has been redesigned. Riposte now gives the warrior 100% chance to parry until they parry an attack after getting a critical strike with auto attack. Another change is that some of the warrior talents were in need of a revision. Second Wind was problematic, and it was sometimes too weak and sometimes too strong. They chose to change it to a passive health regeneration effect to a new leech effect, so that low health warriors have to maintain combat in order to benefit, instead of kiting, hiding, or otherwise playing defensively. For level 60 and level 90 talent rows, certain combinations were proving problematic. They decided that Stormbolt would be better compete with Shockwave and Dragon Roar, and that Bladestorm would be better to compete with Avatar and Bloodbath. So Stormbolt and Bladestorm have swapped positions. Second Wind no longer directly heals the warrior while active. Instead, Second Wind grants the warrior 10% leech while active, which causes the warrior to heal for 10% of all damage and healing done by the warrior while active. So you have to be in combat in order to regen the health. It's not just a passive heal when you're below 30%. Bladestorm is, as mentioned, a level 90 talent, swapping places with Stormbolt. So Bladestorm no longer allows the use of shouts while active. It does still allow the use of taunt and rage regeneration, shield wall, and last stand. And, of course, Stormbolt is now a level 60 talent. Fury warriors are receiving updates to spell alerts to improve usability. They felt that they needed to streamline that a little bit. So Blood Surge's spell alert has moved to the top instead of the left and right slots, and Raging Blow now has a spell alert on the left and right sides. With the introduction of one of the level 100 warrior talents that deals fire damage, they also expanded Enrage to affect all damage, not just physical damage. Enrage now increases all damage, which was a change from physical damage, and the Mastery, Unshackled Fury, now increases all damage, not just physical. They also made a change to the design of Deep Wounds to try to limit its effectiveness in PvP without crippling it in PvE. So Deep Wounds now last 15 seconds or until the target is healed until full health. Those are the main changes that happened with the warriors. Next, what I want to go through is the Warlords of Draenor leveling perks and talents available at level 100. So, just a quick rundown. The Warlords of Draenor leveling perks are from when you ding 91 through 100, you will randomly get one of these perks listed. By the time you are 100, you will have all of them, but as you level, each character can get them in different orders. Each spec has different perks, so I'm going to go through them. Let's start off with arms. So arms, your perks will be, the first one listed is Improved Charge, which increases the range of charge by 10 yards. Next, Improved Heroic Leap. The damage radius of Heroic Leap is increased by 2 yards. Next, Improved Die by the Sword. Increases the damage reduction from Die by the Sword by 10%. Empowered Execute increases the damage of Execute by 50%. Improved Colossus Smash now generates 10 rage when hitting a target. Enhanced Sweeping Strikes now last 5 seconds longer. Improved Mortal Strike increases the damage of Mortal Strike by 20%. Enhanced Slam increases the radius of the splash damage dealt by Slam while Sweeping Strikes is active by 3 yards. And finally, for arms, Improved Overpower increases the damage dealt by Overpower by 20%. For Fury, Improved Meat Cleaver. Meat Cleaver now grants 2 charges every time Whirlwind deals damage. Improved Wild Strike. The damage of your Wild Strike ability is increased by 40%. Improved Bloodthirst. Increases the damage and healing of Bloodthirst by 20%. Improved Raging Blow. Increases the damage of Raging Blow by 20%. Improved Heroic Leap. The damage radius of Heroic Leap is increased by 2 yards. Improved Charge increases the range of charge by 10 yards. Improved Die by the Sword increases the damage reduction from Die by the Sword by 10%. Empowered Execute increases the damage of Execute by 50%. And finally, Improved Colossus Smash generates 10 rage when hitting a target. And lastly, the Protection Tree. Improved Heroic Throw no longer has a cooldown. Improved Shield Slam increases the damage of Shield Slam by 20%. Improved Revenge increases the damage of Revenge by 20%. Improved Shield Barrier increases the absorb amount of Shield Barrier by 10%. Improved Wavering Sentinel. Unwavering Sentinel now increases your armor by an additional 15%. Improved Bastion of Defense. Bastion of Defense now increases your block chance by an additional 10%. Improved Thunderclap increases the damage of Thunderclap by 20%. Improved Heroic Leap, the damage radius of Heroic Leap is increased by 2 yards. And Improved Charge increases the range of charge by 10 yards. For the Warrior level 100 talents, we do have one other change, which was, of course, the change with Blade Storm and Shockwave, switching tiers. But at level 100, here are the 3 new talents for Warriors. So the first talent available at 100 is Anger Management. Every 30 rage that you spend reduces the remaining cooldown of your readiness affected abilities by 1 second. Ravager throws a whirling axe at the target location that inflicts 1 damage to enemies within 8 yards every 1 second, and it lasts for 15 seconds. It also increases your chance to parry by 20% for 15 seconds. And finally, Ignite Weapon, which ignites your weapon and deals 100% weapon damage, or 140% if a one-handed weapon is equipped as fire, and causes your auto attacks to deal fire damage for 10 seconds. This ability is not a global cooldown, and this is actually a replacement for Heroic Strike. So guys, this is your Warlords of Draenor right now, as of current Warrior updates. There's a lot of changes, a lot for the better. You're definitely getting rid of some of the button bloat. I don't think Warriors were as bad as other classes, say a Hunter. A Hunter had a lot more changes than the Warrior did. But I think this actually doesn't really hurt the Warrior. I think it's a nice rounded out profile. And I'm certainly looking forward to taking my little Panda Warrior up to 100 with these changes. What do you guys think? There's a lot of information to take in, and that's just one class. So let me know what you think in the comments. Like, comment, and definitely subscribe, because we're getting a lot more Warlords of Draenor videos coming out. And I'll see you guys in Azeroth. Bye!